Today we'll take a look at the type of containers we use for all of our container grown Japanese maples. Now we do use quite a selection from cement, fiberglass, of course poly pots, oak barrels, cedar boxes, and of course let's not forget the generic pots that Japanese maples are generally sold in. Now, of course, if you're buying your first Japanese maple or adding to your collection, you're often purchasing them in a 1-gallon pot or maybe a 2-gallon pot. Now, of course, purchasing this size of Japanese maple generally tends to be much less expensive than purchasing an older mature tree, as they can get very expensive. Now, the generic nursery pot is an excellent container. Now you'll notice the drain holes on the sides at the bottom on both of these pots. You always want good drainage. That's the most important detail. If you move up to a 5-gallon pot, often you may be purchasing an older Japanese maple. Again, nice drain holes, water can dissipate thoroughly, and I don't even wouldn't hesitate to drill a few extra holes in the bottom just to let that water flow smoothly. Of course, now you bump it up to a 15-gallon pot. These are really well built pots. They're certainly underrated. They stand up and they will last for years. Here's a 20-gallon. Now, these containers, I mean, we've had these for over 25 years. They stand up well. Cosmetically, they're not the prettiest in the bunch, but you know, they do the job. And if you can get a hold of generic pots, they'll do just fine with your trees. So I'm going to start with our cement pots and give you detailed descriptions, why we use them, where it's best to use them, and the benefits, of course. So here we go. Now, starting with the cement pot, again, definitely our preferred choice for an older specimen, especially if you have no intention of ever moving it. As the downside is, of course, they are extremely heavy. The beauty of these pots is, even in severe cold, we're in zone 8B, we do get winter weather temperatures of up to minus 25 Celsius with the Arctic outflow winds, and that's about minus 23 Fahrenheit. So they stand up well. Of course, everything freezes solid, but the cement really protects well. With cement pots, you always must ensure you've got a good drain hole in the bottom, because of course you need good drainage. With these bigger pots, we'll always layer 2 to 3 inches of larger round rock and then some shade cloth. Then we'll add our soil mix. That way the water will dissipate and nothing will get plugged in the bottom. And of course, price is often a factor, as these pots can get expensive. The upside, of course, these are built to last a lifetime. This pot here we purchased in the late 1990s, and it's doing fantastic. And another really good choice to my left. Again, this now is what I would call a hybrid pot. It's about half the weight of cement. This is fiberglass with cement, and it stands up equally as well. Of course, it's expensive as well, but again, a lifetime pot. So easier on the arms if you plan to move the container, but both highly recommended and both ideal for your older specimens that you want to put in their final resting homes. Now, of course, I mentioned fiberglass earlier. Well, this is a solid fiberglass pot. Again, these pots are lightweight virtually indestructible, and again, they'll last you a lifetime as long as you don't take a sledgehammer to it. We've had these for many years, and the beauty of these, of course, you can pick out, colors that may match your environment, and super lightweight, easy to move. They do protect the root system much nicer than the plastic pots, as they do create an insulating barrier. This one on my left, again, much larger, but again, solid fiberglass, very light, ideal choice. These ones you can move very easy and place and adjust in your patio landscape environment. So fiberglass, I'd highly recommend as well. Now, of course, if you can find a container made from rubber, they are fantastic. They are very, very durable. They are ideal in very harsh conditions. They're somewhat heavy compared to the poly or plastic type of pots, but that's a good thing, as they do add that extra insulation. And they really do last a lifetime. Now, this one in particular, I bought a couple of these used. Now, these are, I would say 30-gallon size. Basically, this pot is ideal for a fully grown, mature, container-grown Japanese maple, with, again, some minimal root pruning, as with all the big pots. But again, a lifetime pot. Although it's not a Japanese maple, we've got a pine in here, and again, this is another 100% rubber pot. We've had these pots for a number of years, and we do have several Japanese maples in these containers. They stand up very well. So that's a good choice as well, if you can find them. Now, these little guys we found at our local Home Depot one year. I haven't seen them again, but they are out there. And again, when you are getting these type of rubber containers, always make sure you punch a few extra holes in the bottom. It never hurts to have more than enough drainage. And now here, of course, we've got the half oak barrel. Now, there was a time when you could buy these half barrels at a very good price. They have gone up substantially. Now, we bought about 20 of these in the early 1990s. Now, this is literally the last one remaining. They do stand up very well, actually even a little better than cedar as far as aging outdoor with soil inside. They do add a nice layer of protection due to the thickness of the wood, and because it's oak, it does take years and years to break down. Of course, the trade-off, again, very, very heavy. You need to drill multiple holes in the bottom, but they do create a very nice home for a mature Japanese maple. So if you've got some of these and you want to use that as a resting home, it's certainly a good choice. You'll get at least 20 to 25 years, and again, you can paint them or stain them to your color of choice to match your landscaping environment as well. Now, of course, cedar boxes are quite popular. We do have a number of older trees in cedar boxes, and for years we built our own, especially during the nursery years. The most important thing with cedar boxes is, if you're planning to purchase one, try to avoid any of the cedar boxes that are built and just stapled together, because I'll guarantee you after a couple of years they will completely fall apart. We always used screws, screwed everything together, much more sturdy, much more solid. Now, you can get up to 20 years out of a cedar box before it will basically rot and collapse, but it gives a nice rustic look, and it does stand up very well. Now, of course, there's no need to drill any drain holes because the cedar is porous, and with the slats on the side, the water always will dissipate, and it will dissipate through the bottom. Now, they do stand up very well in the sun. They can handle very harsh winters. There's no need to give them any type of finishing whatsoever. They do age naturally, and they are an ideal container for a mature tree, as mentioned. Now, these boxes are 18 by 18 inches with an 18-inch depth, so basically 45 centimeters by 45 centimeters by 45 deep. Ideal size for a mature tree. And of course, we need to take a look at ceramic and terracotta pots. Now, ceramic pots, they can be absolutely beautiful due to the coloration on the exterior. If you're in any type of climate that gets any little bit of frost whatsoever, I would strongly recommend to stay away from a ceramic pot, unless of course you're just placing the tree in a generic pot right into the ceramic container. Now, here's a beautiful ceramic pot. We don't put the tree in, we'll just set the pot inside the container, top dress it to give it the illusion that it's been repotted, and then in the fall we'll take it out. Now, on the other hand, terracotta, it breathes much better, and of course that allows the moisture to dissipate, and you don't have those issues. Now, this particular pot is I would say 30 years old now. We've got a couple of these, never had an issue with them. Here's another nice terracotta. We don't have anything in it yet. So if you're going with ceramic or terracotta, I would strongly recommend terracotta. Generally, the products made in Italy seem to stand up better. Vietnam has some nice products as well. Again, that's just our personal experience, so I can't speak for other manufacturers or other locations of where they're manufactured. And the most important thing with terracotta or ceramic, do not purchase a pot that comes up and then arches in, as of course you'll never get that tree out of the pot without really severely damaging it, unless you do it in its dormancy. So always get a pot that is either vertical to the bottom or has an outward lift to it, so placing the plant in or out is so much easier. Hopefully the descriptions of these various types of containers for your container-grown Japanese maple will give you a little more insight now into the type of choice you may be making for your special tree. Thanks again so much for watching.